will carry on. That has not been a problem, and hope it will come out to be a problem in the future. So if you would, please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
We have a large crowd here. I hope that doesn't define how long this meeting gonna go. Normally we like it to be short, but yet on the other hand, sometimes your long meetings are your best meetings, so it'll be what it is. At this time, I would like to have a motion for the minutes of July 2nd, 2025.
So moved.
Second,
Properly moved in second. All those in favor, usually sign by.
aye.
Ayes have it. The same for a motion for the approval of the authorization of bills and payment. Is there a motion?
So he said sewer, gas and all that should be done. The rough-in for that should be done at the same time as the framing.
Terry has to do it. Do what? Is she accidentally in?
Which, so moved. Move for the.
I'll second it.
Properly moved in second. All those in favor, the usual sign by.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Motion is carried. As we follow the agenda of the meeting, the first at hand is a public hearing. Ordinance 3/2025 critical area update, and it is being presented for introduction.
Hello.
The town is required to, every 10 years now, update their critical area program. And we were due for the update. The town worked closely, the planning department worked closely with the critical area staff in drafting the amendments to be in compliance with the updated critical area laws, regulations, and then the other changes that had occurred at the state level. Planning Commission held a public hearing on Monday, July 7th, 2025, to consider the amendments and updates to the ordinance. And they had recommended approval. And what you have available to you is a copy of our ordinance showing, it's a redlined ordinance, so it'll show you what was inserted and what was deleted from that ordinance. So the changes include updates to the state definitions, updates to the state critical area law, goals, map revisions, permitted uses within the resource conservation areas, growth allocation provisions, variance procedures, water dependent facilities, programmatic changes, local development project regulations, and enforcement measures within the critical area. And this is all required by the and recommended by the State of Maryland Critical Area Commission. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of the proposed amendments with the following minor text and formatting corrections. There's a reference to a code enforcement officer for enforcement, and it should be the zoning administrator. The zoning administrator supervises the code enforcement officer, so it should go through the zoning administrator. There was a placeholder for a local approving authority, and we want to insert mayor and commissioners in there as it should be. There's a couple of new definitions and a separate definition. So it's just mainly cleaning up some of the language, very minor, 6 items. Do you have any questions about the proposed amendments to the critical area program?
This.
Somebody's going?
Not mine. You said there was a change in permitted uses. Has that like
Well,
been significant?
no, as a matter of fact, that there. Well, I mean, you'd have to ask me specifically which section.
I was just wondering if anything jumped out at you.
No,
being
no,
changed
we've
or-
gone through this, it's been about a year for us going through this with the
That's
critical area
huge.
commission.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
big.
80 pages.
God bless you, thank you.
So,
Hard work.
but the critical area commission, really, did a majority of the work by taking a look at our ordinance, trying to make changes into compliance with the new regulations and updated references to Comar and that sort of thing.
Well,
Cleaning it up, it was very helpful.
Okay. So all we need to do is adopt it. or-
It's for introduction, I believe,
Oh,
tonight
okay.
today.
Okay,
Once this is approved, then I would send it to the critical area commission for their final approval on it.
all right.
Is there a motion for the introduction only?
So moved.
Second?
Second,
No
okay.
questions, all those in favor, the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion is carried, thank you very much.
Thank you for the hard work, Jane.
Bye.
Wow.
And up next, we have Rachel Wright, Director of Cecil County Public Library. She came to us 3 months ago with some critical information and talking about the update at the library, and she is back again. So welcome, and the show is yours at this time.
Hello, I am just about there. I needed to get access to the internet, which I did, and now trying to join. Show my presentation.
She was gonna hand out books, but decided to go more technologically, updated.
You need some moments.
The meeting. Good work. People one pizzas, or, yeah, people one free is media age. Well, I just need the password. Oh, 241 860. I see. There we go. And then will I be able to share my screen? Yes. And if you would mute your.
Yeah.
Session.
Bring up.
Think we're in business. Thank you. Sorry about that delay. So good afternoon, everyone. It's wonderful to be here. It's kind of echoing here, but it says I'm muted. We're good. So it's wonderful to be here again today to share with you all some updates from the Cecil County Public Library. We are really busy, so we thought this was a perfect time to come back and see you all again. Great, so right now we're in the middle of our summer reading and learning season. Every year we invite people of all ages to track their reading at the library. This is an especially critical time for our students to stay engaged throughout the summer. Research tells us that kids who stay engaged over the summer in reading and learning are more likely to be prepared when they go back to school in the fall. So we want to make that time when they're not in school fun and exciting and accessible. And so that's what we're in the middle of right now. So you see some great photos here of programming that's happening across the county. And as of July 8th, the county has come out in full force with over 3,000 people who are tracking their reading with us. And the good news is it's not too late. So we are still doing it. And if you haven't signed up yet, you still have time. And any reading that you've done since June counts. So come on in, any of our branches, and you can get started. One of my very favorite events of the year and the way that we kick off summer reading is with our Children's Book Festival. This year we were record-breaking with the number of authors and illustrators that attended, as well as the number of people from the community and the books that we gave away at that time. So we had over 1,300 people come. It's a wonderful opportunity for them to meet authors and illustrators. And due to the generosity of our Friends Foundation, as well as sponsorship from the APG FCU, this is a completely free event for our families. And so they get to come meet with their authors, pick a book to be signed, have face painting and ice cream and Rita's Ice, and just a great way to kick off summer reading season. Another program that we do that coincides with summer reading is our Spark program. This is a wonderful partnership with Cecil County Public Schools. We've been doing for well over 10 years now. Through this program, and again with generosity from the Friends Foundation and HOPAC, we take the bookmobile with a specially curated collection to all the middle schools. These photos are from Elkton Middle. And the sixth graders have an opportunity to select 3 books that they get to take home. They read them, they share them, they put them on their bookshelves. And again, it keeps them engaged in reading all summer long. So that's a favorite. And we actually engage the sixth graders ahead of time in finding out what are the things, what are the books, what are the titles that they're interested in reading. And that's how we build the collection, because we know that if they are involved in that process and they are able to select their own materials, that they are more likely to read them over the summer, which is exactly what we want them to do. So speaking of summer and teens, we are this week doing our Startup Cecil program. This is our teen entrepreneurship program. We engage with teens in grades 6 through 12. On multiple days this week, they engage in workshops with our business librarians, our teen librarians, as well as mentors from the business community. They learn about how to start a business. They come in with ideas, they engage and think about competitors and the product or the service that they might want to provide. They do research and looking into demographics, and then they're charged with pitching their idea to a panel of judges on Thursday night. So I would invite all of you to come out. I can guarantee that you will be impressed by the teens and the ideas that they come up with. We're appreciative of our panel of judges, which this year is County Executive Straight, Sandra Edwards from the Office of Economic Development, and from the Elkton Alliance, Alicia Calhoun. So it's going to be a great evening in Elkton this year, and that's Thursday evening at 6:30. You won't be disappointed.
Is AI incorporated into this training?
No, we don't use AI for this workshop.
Better get on board.
We're looking at opportunities and where AI plays into some of the things that we offer, but for the Startup Cecil program, they're not engaged with AI.
Ms. Wright,
Yeah.
excuse me. If you mount the microphone in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, you should, I think, if you disable that,
Ooh.
it might stop that echoing.
Sure. Camera. Oh, maybe this. Okay. That seems good. All right, and no, I didn't do it. I can still hear it. All right. Okay, that. Another microphone. Yeah, that's good. Perfect. Okay, and our bookmobiles. So yes, we have two bookmobiles. On the left is our new tech-enhanced bookmobile that is on the road now, out in the community, visiting neighborhoods and summer camps. We were recently with our bookmobile at Elkton's Juneteenth celebration, which was a wonderful way for the community to engage with the library. And then on the right is we call it our OG bookmobile. We still have it. As you can see there, it has a new look. It's getting some well-needed and deserved TLC. But this fall, both of them will be on the road and out in the community, meeting people where they are, taking technology, assistance with workforce development, job training, and things that they are looking for out in the community and may not be able to get to the library to do. I mentioned that we are busy, so we just wrapped up our fiscal year. So for FY25, we welcomed 320,906 people to our branches and onto our bookmobile. This is an increase over last year. So it's wonderful that we are able to serve the community and that the community is coming to us for the very many things that they need. One of the things that they are looking for when they visit the library are study rooms. Again, we have 16 across the county. And so we had close to 8,000 reservations, individual reservations this year for those study rooms, and over 21,000 people attending our programming across the county. So we're excited to be where we are, and we would always welcome 320,000 more to visit us this coming year. And that's true for Elkton as well. So Elkton saw over 75,000 visits this past fiscal year. We have 2 study rooms in Elkton, not nearly enough, but people are using them to the tune of over 1,400 reservations this year and close to 7,000 people coming to our programs.
I don't mean to interrupt you. Could you
Sure.
describe what the study rooms are?
Oh, sure.
How they're equipped or?
Yeah, so in our study rooms, they have technology in there. So there are monitors or computers, and people, it's a private space. So people can go in there if they want to have a quieter place to study. They can, sometimes people are using them to log onto a computer. They may be doing an interview, a Zoom interview. They may be collaborating. We have students come from Cecil College.
And access?
Yes, absolutely. Mhm. And so, yeah, we have 10 in Northeast, 4 in Perryville, and 2 in Elkton. And so they're different sizes. So if you have a party of 2 or party of 4, party of 6, depending on the group that you are wanting to meet or collaborate with, we have lots of different options. And they can be reserved online. So if you go onto our website and you select what room you need or location, you're able to make those reservations online.
You're a former teacher here, that's why.
Yes, and we have teachers, tutors, students, homeschoolers, job seekers, all kinds of folks that are using the study.
I went to a seminar in Northeast where they rented, I guess, or reserved a space, and it was lovely. I mean, it was very comfortable. The
Yeah.
technology was there, the presentation was really good.
And then we also, so the study rooms are like kind of our smaller spaces for those smaller groups, and then we also have our meeting rooms.
Oh, okay.
So we have meeting rooms at all of our locations except for Cecilton. And again, those are community groups are reserving them all the time. They generally, depending on which branch, but in Northeast, for example, can seat up to, 75 people. So those are a larger space.
Last time you came in, my wife and we went on I thought it was vacation, but you went to our library visits. It was very interesting. So, we walked in, we saw some, parents with their kids, that was just, toddlers in certain rooms. So like I said, there's some studying for a test, and there's some doing interviews, and, we was very, it was very interesting for both of us, so
Yeah.
thank you for stopping in.
They're versatile spaces, because again, we're serving the entire community. And so the needs that they have coming in are versatile, so we need to make sure that our spaces are as well. All right, and as we've talked about with our Elkton renovation and expansion, we are moving along. We are focused right now in design. So the next time we meet, I'm hoping to have some renderings for you. So looking at that for later in the fall. But right now, feeling really good about the project. We have the support of our county executive, who has included the project in this fiscal year's CIP, as well as the county council has approved that. And then also we've received some dollars from the state. From the state library capital grant. So there's lots of support for this project. And we feel good about the priorities that we have and the things that we'll be able to accomplish. These are just a couple. You all know back in January, we engaged the community in talking with them about the things that they were hoping to see at the library. We've been working with our architect to see what we might be able to do. And this is just a couple. of the things that we are feeling good about. So looking at that entrance and doing some reconfiguration there. So for easier access and safety at that space, enclosing that courtyard for dedicated space for teens. As I've said before, we have 1,900 students within walking distance of the Elkton Library. And so we really want to be prepared to serve them better than what we're able to do right now. So having that dedicated enclosed space for teens is one way that we'll do that. And then as I've talked about, looking at the overall layout and adding tech-enhanced, flexible study and collaboration rooms. We have 2 in Elkton, not nearly enough. So we're feeling pretty confident that we'll have, don't hold me to it, but I'm thinking a minimum of 6 to 8. So we're looking forward to that. So those are all the improvements in addition to kind of the mechanical and structural, a new room and HVAC and all those kinds of things.
Conversation for the Elkton renovation was concerning the flooding in the front, right?
Yes.
Is that still being addressed or it's already been taken care of? Because last time we stopped.
Yes, sure. So, I mean, that is part of, enclosing that courtyard and doing some things there is part of addressing the flooding issue. That has been something that we have kind of lingered for several years. So that is a significant part of what we want to resolve with this project. So our team of architects and engineers and all the people who are experts in those kinds of things will resolve that with this project.
That was my question.
That- And then just to end with, again, a shout out to our Friends Foundation and just a reminder of the great work that the Friends Foundation is doing. That they are offering advocacy and funding support to really enhance the things that the library does. So much with our spaces and with our programs. We have certain level of dollars to support those things. But we always say that the Friends Foundation is really the cherry on top of the most delicious sundae. So they really enhance and make it possible for us to do even more. So they're preparing for the 12th annual crab crawl. That's the second Saturday of September. In Northeast, the crab crawl and the proceeds from the crab crawl fund our summer reading lineup so that we can have presenters and performers and educational and entertaining programs throughout the summer for all those who participate. So the crab crawl is important. And then they'll also be launching here soon a campaign to engage the community and just lots of fun ways to raise some money to do even more wonderful things at the Elkton Library.
What's the other event? The books and.
So Books, Bourbon and Barbecue, that is an event that they do in May. It's around the Kentucky Derby season. So again, that supports a lot of our literacy programs. So that was in May, and then our crab crawl is in September.
How do teens become aware of the Startup Seesaw program?
So a couple of different ways. So we have our regular channels of, we have things that we put out on Facebook. We have our library link, things that we post in our library. So a lot of our teens who are coming after school and are in our spaces, where our librarians are promoting and talking to them about the things that are available to them. And then we share a lot of our information with the schools as well. So hopefully the schools are also sending information home to families.
Thank you.
Have you ever done a presentation at one of the schools?
So we visit the schools a lot. So each of our library branches is connected to their local school. So our librarians visit regularly. All of our schools, all of our elementary schools and our middle schools are visited every year for summer reading. And so we go in, we talk about summer reading, all the great things that they can do. We give them reading logs so that they can get started right away. We have other programs where we're going into our preschool classrooms with the My Special Book program. So we're very connected to the schools. And then our librarians are also going to special events. Our outreach, our bookmobile is going all the time. Their dance card is full of school events. So they are, we're very well connected with the schools, absolutely.
Yeah, that was gonna be one of my questions, how you collab with the middle school and Gilbert Manor with six right in front of you. But I guess you partly answered that.
So we do that. And then we also have our student virtual library card program with the schools. So every student who is enrolled in a Cecil County Public School automatically has a library card account. And so that they can come to the library, they can request that books are sent to their schools. Again, we take the bookmobile so that they have access to library materials as well.
And obviously you do a fine job in view of the fact that, you know, teenagers, elementary kids, they have cell phones, because whenever you go into your library, it is quiet. The demeanor of the noise and all that is not there. So, you know, that's a salute to you for having that space and atmosphere, because that an expectation of a library is for it's quiet. You did have a reading program last year. It didn't get off to a great start. At least I think it didn't. So you're going to come back with that again?
So
I'll try.
I'm not sure if we're talking about reading buddies,
The
perhaps.
reading buddies.
So yeah, so Reading Buddies is going great. When we launched, this is a program, in case you're not familiar, where we have worked with the county to recruit and to train volunteers who are then partnered with elementary school students. So we have more than 80 volunteers engaged in that program right now. And then we work with the schools to really recruit students who are in need of extra reading support. And so we do that across the school year and into the summer. So we have a Reading Buddies program right now, and we do that at 4 of our library branch locations. So we're hoping to be able to expand that even further because the need is great. So it's gone really well. We're also looking for other ways to partner with other organizations and to be able to offer it as an outreach in addition to just in our library branches.
And I know with demographics and the libraries that are in Cecil County, and you mentioned the fact of the number of people that you've had going through the doors. So which library actually has had a great attendance now? I wouldn't expect Cecilton to be in there because it's a rural area and it's not big as the others, but where did you lie amongst those here in Elkton?
So Elkton would be second in terms of attendance to Northeast. So Northeast is our busiest branch right now and in this past year. And then Elkton is a very close second. Yeah, so very busy. And back to your point, I just want to say about, you know, the atmosphere and how the kids are engaged when they're at the library. That really is a wonderful testament to our staff. We have amazing, committed, kind teen librarians at all of our branches. I was just in Elkton yesterday where they were doing Startup Cecil, and we had 3 of our teen librarians in there. And they're wonderful. The teens love them. They enjoy working with the teens. And, you know, they understand what the teens need and what they're looking for in the after school hours. And so they're engaging with them. They're making sure that they have activities and they have spaces to do the things that they need to do. So it's really our staff that hold that space for them.
Are there any other questions? If not, we certainly thank you for coming today, and you'll be back in 3 months.
Okay,
Okay.
that's great.
Good luck with everything.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Rachel.
Interlock discussion. You can take your time. Don't be rushed.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dwayne Lowry. I'm the regional manager for Infomark. I want to thank Mr. Lewis George for inviting us to talk about PFAS and drinking water and kind of a game plan for moving forward and kind of where we are.
But before you begin, and you do have an audience, can you tell them what PFAS is?
Yes and no.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
very long name. So it is a contaminant. It's known as a forever chemical. It's perfluoroalkyl. I would have to have that in front of me and I wasn't prepared for that. It is known as a forever chemical. You're gonna make me Google it. I thank you for
You
that.
don't have to Google it, I mean, well,
It's layman's term.
layman terms.
Layman's term is known as a forever chemical. It's been used in the firefighting industry. They use it on a lot of things. It's used on your Teflon. It's been used on McDonald's wrappers. It's used on many things, and it's a long chain hydrocarbon, short chain hydrocarbon, and it's not even a banned substance yet. It's just out there, and they found it to be a cancer causing agent, and it's been regulated. It's just been recently regulated, and they're starting to put it into it. The federal EPA put it into the regulations in April of 2024, where they started putting rules around it. So it is something that we have to just start testing for. The regulations basically say that we have to start testing in April 2024 through 2027. And then based upon those results, you have to put in some, if you find certain levels, then you have to put in treatment techniques through 2029. And then in 2029, you have to be in compliance. So with that being said, there's compounds known as PFOA. And I'm giving you all acronyms because the scientific names are very long, very difficult to say. There's PFOS, PFOS, and then there's PFHS, XS, PFNA, Gen X, and PFBS. Those four make up a health index. 3 of those 4 have a regulation, 1 of them combined with those 4. The 2 most people talk about are PFOA and PFOS. The other 4 are not commonly found. So there's 6 compounds of main consideration in what is grouped as PFOS. So don't want to get overly technical because it can get very convoluted and complex. The main thing of concern is that we have a new regulation that's come on board and has been passed by federal EPA. Maryland has taken a stance that nothing is being required to be sampled yet. Okay, so their latest email that they sent to Gary Gutierrez, who's our project manager here, is there's no sampling required yet. But the federal EPA does require us to sample, so we still have to do sampling. And it starts April 24th and has to be done by the end of 2027. So we got to start sampling.
You
There's,
already have some.
yeah, we have. So we've done some sampling. So we did a first set of sample August 24th of 2022. And then there's always been, I don't know if you guys have heard, uncontaminant monitoring regulations, UCMRs. There's been 5 of them. These compounds were tested in UCMR 5. Okay, that's where we started seeing some of these test results. PFOA and PFOS were discovered in UCMR 5. We saw large numbers in well 1 and well 3. And that's where we've been originally discussing this. The numbers were, the regulations, let me step back. These regulations are measured in parts per trillion. So we're talking about really, really low numbers. And the regulations say that in a running annual average, what that means is in 4 quarters, your average has to be less than 4 parts per trillion. The number in well 3 over the 4 samples that were taken, and this is from 22 through 25, okay, is 20 parts per trillion. And well 1 is 17 parts per trillion. So part of the reason Mr. George has asked us to say, what is the game plan moving forward? is what should we do? We got numbers that are alarming, that's gonna require some type of treatment. Otherwise, we're gonna be in violation with the regulations when they're in effect in 2029. Without doing anything, we're definitely gonna be in violation. Well, the first thing we definitely have to do is, we have not done the quarter monitoring that's required by the federal EPA. We have to do the water treatment plant. We have to do well 1, we have to do well 2, well 3. We're getting ready to receive a certificate of potability any day now on well 4, because that's coming on board. We have to sample that. And we have to do well 5, once a quarter for a full year. The goal is to start that in August, assuming we receive certificate of potability for well 4 here in July. So that we can get these numbers and get a full board. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't do things in parallel. My opinion is we should be looking at starting some type of treatment on well 3 now. So what is the treatment that's available to us? There's 2 types of recommended treatment that exist today for removal of PFOA and PFOS. And that is granular activated carbon or ion exchange. Both of them work, and there's upsides and downsides to both forms of treatment. Ion exchange leaves you with a waste product. And whenever you left with a waste product, you have to put it into some type of landfill. Currently, the waste product is going to be determined, is it hazardous waste? And is the landfill going to accept it? And is that going to leave the town of Elkton's name on it? That's going to be tracked, where they're going to be responsible for the leachate for the rest of eternity? Or is it just going to be allowed to be dumped in the landfill? We don't know. And is that regulation going to change over time when you deal with a waste product like that? Or can you go with granular activated carbon, which means you put it in, once it gets expended, you take that carbon out, it goes back to the manufacturer, they regenerate it, they do that by reactivating with heat. And then they recreate the carbon, it gets regenerated, and they bring it back to you for reuse. And when they do it, they burn that all. And all that PFOS that gets created or connected to it, it gets absorbed on it, gets burned off, and it's destroyed, and you get it back. So you have no hazardous waste to deal with as a town. It's all removed, and then you just get it back. There's obviously ongoing operating expense with that because you have to keep regenerating it. But no matter what, with this removal process, you always have an ongoing operating expense. It's either you take it, you remove it, and you got a hazardous waste you have to maintain and replace, or you got to take it, get it burned off, and get it back. But you still have to maintain this. So well 3, being it is one of our large producing wells, its per minute withdrawal rate is 500,000 gallons per day on an annual basis, with a max of 800,000 gallons per day for a monthly basis, is obviously a large water source for the community. So we definitely feel that we need to move forward with something there sooner than later. Well 1, that's 100,000 gallons per day on an annual basis. And the permit says we could do as much as 200,000 gallons a day max on a monthly basis. Well 1 and 2 share the same permit. Well 2 is not used because it has a lot of iron in it. The color of the water is orange. So we don't typically use it. The last time we pulled water out of well 2 was roughly 4 years ago. And we have recently tested for PFAS compounds. We haven't had the results back yet. But, you know, we're having an interesting internal conversation about, should we even utilize well 1 and 2 anymore? Should we even maybe abandon well 1 and 2? Because the typical usage today is 80 to 90,000 gallons a day out of well 1.
What's permitted?
Well, I'm sorry, Mel.
What's permitted?
So Maryland Department of Environment gives you a number of the amount of water you're allowed to pull from a well.
Right.
That's the permitted number. So the 100,000 gallons per day is the maximum amount of number you could take per day on an annual basis out of that well.
Both of them, 1 and 2?
Yes, that's a maximum,
And we're doing 80 on one and nothing on the other?
correct. You can't take, like, a 1 and 2 together can only do 100
Oh, together.
together.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant each.
No.
Okay,
Together.
100,000 total, and we're doing 80.
Right.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah.
So those two wells together don't really provide the community with a lot of water. And what we're contemplating and thinking and just trying to think, if we're treating that water, there's an expense to it. Where potentially well 5 right now, the PFAS numbers are looking promising. We won't know till we get more test results, right? Everything comes down to the data. The data tells us the direction to go. And when we get these numbers, it gives us more information. But the idea would be if we can abandon wells 1 and 2, petition the state to give us more out of well 5, because we don't want to lose the ability to provide the community with volume of water.
5 is 100,000 too.
I mean, it's 100 with a max of 150. Hope would be if we don't pull out of 1 and 2 and could get 5 to increase. Take the 100 out of from 1 and 2 and add it to 5, if the state would allow us to do that. It's all the same aquifer, so maybe they would allow us to increase 5. See where I'm going with that? Because I don't want to lose capacity.
We don't either.
Yeah, no, I don't want to do that. So before we would do any abandonment, we would check with the state to see if it would be a viable solution.
And you're aware of KCI's study that they did about a new well, on the south part of
No,
around 213?
I am not.
You're not aware of that study?
Where was
You're
the
talking
new?
about well 3.
So they're talking about a new well, where it would be recommended to be, remember?
No, we were gonna do a new well, in lieu of 3. They turned it down. So we can't pull any more water from well 3.
Yeah.
I knew they were looking at doing
No
a
new
new
well.
well at 3.
No, there is no new well. We were looking at one with KCI, right? They
I-
did that presentation?
I don't know what status is of that.
I think it's just.
Too close to 3, you know, again, 1 next to 3.
Yeah, that's the only thing I heard. I heard that there was a thought about putting one close to 3, but that was abandoned. That's the only one I heard.
Wouldn't make any sense there.
I didn't hear about one in a different location. So, but, you know, I'm sitting there trying to look at what's the most fiscally responsible thing for the community. Because with well 1 needing treatment, that's an additional cost to the community, right? Where well 5 doesn't necessarily, we don't know what the number is gonna turn out. But even if we had that, if we can add 100,000 gallons there by removing well 1 and 2 out of the equation, but increasing well 5, if Maryland would allow us to do that. Even if well 5 needed treatment, it's still cheaper than treating both well 1 and well 5. So it's more about trying to figure out what are the numbers gonna show us by doing the additional testing. Because the other thing we're looking at is like the water treatment plant itself. We have gotten 6 samples out of water treatment plant. Unfortunately, the data set isn't all in the consecutive nature that we need it to be in, but its average is 3.78, which is just below the MCL. So,
Maximum contamination level.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what that is.
I'm sorry, the maximum contaminant level. So we don't need treatment there yet, but if we were need something there, that's still a problem. And we have no idea what well 4 is coming, at all. So, the by starting this quarterly sampling stuff, we're gonna get more and more information and tell us the direction to go. The one thing we know for certain, well, one's not good and well, three's not good. So the idea would be start with the biggest producer, well, three, get the treatment in place because we know we need that volume of water. We know the community needs it. Let's get the treatment moving. And talk with the state of Maryland, see if we can increase the quantity of well 5 if we remove well 1 and 2 out of the equation. And then that way we know we don't lose capacity and see what well 5 ends up giving us, see if it even needs to be treated. That would be my game plan. If that makes sense to the commission on the direction to go. Obviously, everything's up for discussion and it's all fluid. You know, data tells you a direction to go.
One of the things you want to mention here is that town currently takes water from Artesian, from the Red Hill, obviously, for some time. And we were trying to implement a commencement of withdrawal from well of the Route 42. They treat for PFAS. So PFAS, the water that we get from Artesian doesn't have PFAS issues. So that's good water there.
How much are we gonna be able to get there?
We get up to 1 million gallons for each one. We were mandated 250 a day from the Red Hill and 50 a day from Route 40. But if we can go up to 1 million.
Isn't that additional cost from Artesian or no?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, but
huge.
the way I think that we're Infomark's going with this, you have to weigh out the cost over long term versus treating, because if you, the activated carbon, there's a pretty significant cost of that when you're running 500,000 gallons a day through that medium. I'm not sure how long it lasts before they have to change it out, but they have to go back and forth, and it's a pretty expensive thing, so there's gonna be a significant cost to the town.
Yeah, there's gonna be, so we'd be more than happy to, you know, we have an engineering firm that we work with. And we'd be more than happy to get with them and put a package together and get in front of Ms. George here and give you the idea of what the life cycle cost is. So, you know, obviously you need the information to do the analysis because everything comes down to, you know, the money and what it all understands. So that we can sit there and say, this is what the expense is. You know, because you gotta weigh all this out for this to make sense. And we would be more than happy to do that and say, you know, we gotta bring them on site so they can look at what the station looks like and say, this is what we would do, and this is, I think it's a 2 or 3 year life cycle, but I would rely on their expertise, on how big of a unit we would put in based upon the flow rates, and we could get that in front of you without a problem. And we could try to do this quickly as possible. If that's what you want us to do.
Well, KCI has already submitted a design proposal. I went back to them because I need a well outside, not inside that building. So they're gonna get back to me. I think they had about a $215,000 proposal for the design of well 3. But that includes the activated carbon filtration system.
If you want us to do that, we could do something too, if you would like. It's up to you.
But I don't know.
It's up to you. That's fine.
You mean free?
I can't do anything for
So they
free.
don't do that.
At no cost? I mean, the study.
They're in business to make money,
Yeah.
believe it or not.
I would do it for free, but my company's position to do it for free.
Well, that's one of the big things we have up here now. We got one engineer doing one thing, and our engineer got checked what the other engineer does. And then we got 2 costs. One of the things I'm saying, I hear everybody talk about the engineers. We don't need 2 engineers doing the same job and then getting charged twice. And that's one of the things right now on our list, our bucket list, that we need to resolve. That just turns me the wrong way every time I hear that.
So we've got, good point. So it is a good point. So we've got the gist of what you are giving to us. Is there anything that you want to do moving forward that you need to be with Louis George with? Or anybody from the water department, Infomart?
We're just here to help in any way that you all need us to help. I mean, obviously, we got testing that we have to do, by federal EPA regulations. We're gonna do that testing. If there's an interest to talk with Maryland to talk about withdrawal rates on well 5, if we remove well 2 out of the equation, we're more than happy to do that. That's ultimately the town's decision if that's of interest. I think there might be some cost savings there for the community. But we have to make sure we don't lose capacity. That's the most important thing. Because well 1's in definite need of treatment. But well 1, for me, there's a concern of footprint. You know, do we have enough
It's kind of small
space?
there.
Right,
You don't
so,
have you don't have enough space.
right,
to
so.
build any significant improvements.
Right, because of that size and because of, I mean, well, 1's been off for a week or two and the community's never seen a negative impact during that time frame because we've been able to meet the needs of the community from other wells, but you don't want to do that long term. You don't want to lose your capacities. So we need to make sure Maryland would give us that extra 100,000 gallons either through well 3 or well 5. And if they won't, we don't want to lose that. But I don't know if you want us to have that conversation or if you guys want to have that conversation. It's just, it was a
Yeah.
brainstorm idea.
I trust the Infomark, what you guys been doing for the water, system so far. I mean, you guys are the engineers and the professionals at this. I know looking for us as the board members to give you a decision on something that you guys do forever. That's not my call, but I would suggest that you give us a couple of options, working with us and Little George, and then we go from there. Because right now, you know, we can listen to what you're saying, but we got based on what your interest is and your best solution as operators of the water company. So I trust you guys' opinion.
I guess we'd like to see some numbers on the cost of the charcoal treatment versus the other that you talked about,
On exchange.
the ion exchange. Of course, then we have the medical waste to deal with for waste.
Forever.
Yeah, I don't like that. But can we see some figures on this charcoal treatment? Is it possible to even?
Are you doing that anywhere else?
Currently, not that I'm aware of. I will double check. I don't know if any, so like I said, this all started in April 24 of testing. I don't know if anyone has implemented anything yet. There's places that are definitely gonna have to do it. So I don't know anyone that's implemented anything as of today, but I could double check with internally.
So you know how we feel, and at this point, like I said, you've given us data relating to the wells. Lewis has done the same thing, and at this point, we hope that Lewis will take the marching orders and, you know, stay connected with you as well as staying connected with us, so we can come up with a remedy that's beneficial to everybody. Is that okay?
I can see Lewis is in deep thought. Like
What
our,
I'm saying there, from a feasibility standpoint, you can't do a treatment of well 1. You don't have enough, like you said, footprint to do any system. And it's
Right.
only 100,000 gallons a day. You're not getting any water out of there. But you can get, I don't know if they'll give us more water or 5.
well, do you want to pursue that or do you want
Never
them
free
to
one,
to
but
pursue it
take
for
a
us?
shot at 5. What happens? I don't know how much will give us there, what we need to go through, how many hoops. And
What do you
there's
think?
A lot of hoops for them to need to get in testing. I mean. But you're gonna do quarterly testing anyway, you have to do that by EPA. And it's a data-driven solution, you know, what we're gonna do, but it'll be definitely free. Work on free.
Okay, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, I would like, yeah.
Yeah, appreciate it.
You guys are-
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I want to mention one thing in front of the board, Jason and Gary and Wayne. I talked to MDE and your board this morning, and they're still working on that certificate of potability. And we're supposed to start up on Monday, the 21st, and I don't know if we're gonna get it. I think I spoke to Gary about it too, so, I just don't know if they're gonna be able to put it online. So, just wanted to say something to the board about it.
Thanks, Louis.
Thank you.
Louis, can we have your report now?
Yeah, I have a proclamation, been asked to prepare it. It's proclamation, Patriot Bay Golf Course launch zone. Read it as a record proclamation of Mayor and Commissioner of the Town of Elkton formally recognizing and applauding the development of Patriot Patriots Glen Golf Course launch zone in Elkton, whereas business investment in the Elkton community.
Can't hear you.
Want me to read this? I don't know.
Yeah, you're doing well. You need a little, louder. Speak up.
And continues to play an important vital
That's a
role
big
in
one.
enhancing the town by providing an array of services, professional opportunities, creating jobs, providing tax revenue, attracting further business investment, economic development, fostering a positive, competitive spirit with business leaders and strengthening the very backbone of the local economy. Whereas the mayor and commissioners recognize that the business leaders in the Elkton community have been a fundamental ingredient for Elkton's growth and development over the year, and the leading catalyst for its continuing commercial success. And whereas in an effort to emphasize and highlight the importance of other important business investment in the Elkton community, the mayor and commissioners wish to recognize all those who have staked a claim in Elkton's business community. Now therefore be it known that the mayor and commissioners of the town of Elkton hereby formally recognize and extend its congratulations for the development of the Patriots Bay Golf Club launch zone as another vitally important business investment in the Elkton community, encourage both golfers and those who wish to initiate their interest in the sport. Enjoy this exciting opportunity and Patriots plan.
Wow.
I'm sure we got a couple golfers up there somewhere, so I'm sure they want to shoot some golf balls off that thing.
Have you seen it?
No, but I haven't been out there yet. I've been spending too much time on Patriots Glen, but I get that's
Get back to the place where it wasn't. Yeah.
I'm sure that we have a couple commissioners that are gonna test it out though.
I do what I call golfing.
Hard to get that little ball in that hole so far away, I thought. Anyway, that's what I had, Your Honor.
Thank you.
At this time, Rob Masmiano, do you have anything that you want to report to us?
Yes, sir. At our last meeting, we discussed the flower boxes downtown on Main Street, sidewalks, and the tripping hazard that they pose. Mayor Alt asked me to lead on behalf of the mayor and commissioners, our part of the team that met, including Alicia and Mark Turnbull. We met with Larry, with Bill Bathon, and Brian and Dan were there. And we discussed a few possibilities. One was raising them to 3 feet above the ground so they wouldn't be a tripping hazard. And another was put forth by Mark Turnbull to create these type of pedestals with no shrubbery at all around them, which we all agreed would be nice in certain spots as markers for Main Street. But I think the most viable and aesthetically pleasing option that we discussed came from Bill Bathon about, and I think Gene Minner had also recommended the flat grate style. And that is what I would recommend, and I think it was the consensus of our group to recommend going with that option. I was supposed to have pictures by Mr. Bathon. Dan, did he ever send them to you?
We're gonna discuss it at the August workshop. Everything was gonna be a presentation on the 13th, with pictures and everything.
All right, well, we'll have all that ready on the 13th then. That is it for me, sir.
Gene.
No, good. I thank you for doing this because it definitely has to be addressed. And Rob, when you do come up with a solution, will the bricks also be addressed at that same time?
I believe that that is in our plans because that definitely needs to be addressed downtown. It's a major tripping hazard.
It is. Yeah. And even the curb it looks like it's not in good shape either. That could be a big project, but you can see it. I mean, right from the picture.
We've had a couple of people fall and hurt themselves over the last couple of years, and we definitely want to eliminate that.
Thank you. I have nothing else.
Now we would go to the public. Alicia, I'm gonna call you up first.
Do I need to come up there?
If you wanna come up here, if you wanna stand there,
Stand here.
it must be short then. No, I'm saying if you're gonna stand there, it's short. If you come and sit, then we know it's gonna be long, so what's
No,
going
quick.
Oh.
Do you have a specific question or you just want me to talk?
on?
Okay, so, we, besides Patriots Glen launched them having their grand opening, we have 2 additional grand openings this week. We had the Armored Place opening on South Bridge Street, tomorrow afternoon at noon. And then we have a second one. Ross is having their grand opening on Saturday at 9 a.m.
Are you excited?
I'm so excited because everybody's tired of hearing about when's Ross gonna open. So
Yeah.
we're excited about that. And then we have First Friday in August, which is a car show. We welcome everybody to bring their cars out and showcase them and the community to come out. And then we have Fall Fest on September 19th and 20th. I cannot believe we're talking about fall.
I know. Crazy.
Yes.
Anything about the building down the street?
I've not heard anything new on the building down the street.
Okay, what about the former PNC Bank?
The PNC Bank, I thought you were talking about the Howard House.
Well, I was.
Okay.
You just-
The former PNC Bank, they are moving along. They have been spending a lot of time in their Rising Sun locations, and now they've transitioned to focusing on Elkton. And so I actually have been working with EPD and also now have combined them with some of the organizations in town to ensure that they're doing a cleanup, a safe cleanup of any needles or anything like that that's in between PNC and Cecil Bank. I put those 2 owners in touch with each other to determine what could happen in that area. EPD has said to me oftentimes, like, if that was a straight through without the circle in the middle, people wouldn't hang out as much, they wouldn't hide needles in there, and there wouldn't be as much garbage around there. So I put the building owners in contact with each other to hopefully come up with a plan on what that may look like, and then we'll come back and see how that connects in with any of the town initiatives and things like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, and we have been working down at the farmer's market area. We had our food truck event down there, which was great. I want to start utilizing that space more. And we met with the Northeast and Elkton watershed gentleman, Mark, that was here to speak to the board a couple weeks ago. And I had him meet me down there and sort of review the area, just to see if they have any guidance and suggestions on that rain garden area. Because as we continue to want to do more things down there, we want to, spruce that area up. And we've talked to DPW about what that looks like from a parking lot standpoint. I know it's been in your budget to revitalize that parking lot, and we want to make sure it's all happening at the same time. And also in connection with the electric that's going on down there. As the board knows, earlier this year, you guys approved us to continue the revitalization and get some electric down there. So we want to make sure it's all happening at the same time, so we're not putting electric in and then, or putting a parking lot in and then tearing it up for electric and things like that.
You have I was down there talking with Rob the other day, you have some speaker box on the poles?
They've been there about 2 years
Oh,
since I
gee.
came. And we've run into significant challenges in those 2 years about getting them to work. I've had multiple people that have tried to get them to work. And one of the last things that I was told is that they were trying to run on the same frequency that some of the utility initiatives downtown were, like the water. I'm gonna speak and not know what I'm talking about, but something about how the reporting of like the water and help me out, Dan. Yes, thank you. And they're kind of bumping up against each other, which is why I've never been able to have them run consistently. 2 Christmases ago, I had them run for about a half a second, which was great.
But, I've had multiple experts that have looked into that and so far, no luck. So I continue to meet with some of the other towns in Maryland to
Yeah.
see if we can figure out what
How,
that is.
how do they make it work? It's amazing. You know,
It's been,
Havity race is the big one.
I'm
Yeah.
actually going there in an hour, so I'm gonna meet with them and find out.
Yeah, I heard the
Yeah.
bus on Saturday, I was there, but they've always had music downtown, so.
Yeah, it's been one of my longest situations slash issues since I've started here that for some reason I cannot get it figured out.
Is it?
Listen, I
I
bang my head
know.
up against the wall all the time about it. Because I've had some people that have done some really deep research to figure out what's going on. And I ran into somebody at a Maryland Main Street conference earlier this year. And he's dealt with it in other towns, and he was the one that, I can't remember who gave me the meter frequencies. I don't know if you remember them, but, when I sent them to this expert, he said, I think your speaker system is trying to run on the same frequency and that they're not gonna work, it's gonna bump up against each other. Technical stuff that I can't really speak to in detail.
Well, we hope you get some answers.
Oh, yeah, well,
We've been, yeah,
Wouldn't it be nice? I thought it was an easy
It's
thing 2
crazy.
years ago.
yeah.
Donnie Hicks, did you want to address us?
Alicia, I had one more question.
Got
Yes, sir.
Did you make any progress in finding out what happened to Matt from Tony's old barber shop?
I've had nothing, I can't find
It's
anybody
just
that can
dead
find out
end, huh?
anything. I just, somebody, at one of the meetings, we talked about it, and somebody said we were gonna find out where the water bills were going.
Yeah.
To find out who the owner is, but that's not me, so.
Huh?
I don't know who can find that out. But that's not me.
Hicks,
We would find it out.
So it would be great if we could find out who owned that building and what's going on with it, and see if we could do something about it.
thank you.
Can you help with that, with the water bill, where it's going?
Yeah, I see.
I'm coming up front, but it won't be long.
Do you know the address, Alicia?
I'll look it
I'm
up.
gonna give you the Reader's Digest first.
That's okay.
Oh, yeah, we should know.
We try and play well with others. As of July 3rd of this year, we have been open for 70 years. My dad opened a business July 3rd, 1955. We're now a third generation. And as you're aware, I have very few complaints with the town. They've been wonderful over the years and everything. We've run a professional business up here. But it's come to a point that I'm having a lot of issues with my neighbors. Okay, there are people there, and I think we're all aware that there are people who are in need in this community. And then there are people who are just riding the system, to be quite honest with you, okay? I've got numerous pictures here of, I've got services trying to run a professional business. There's 17 out laying on the sidewalk this morning when I came down. When I have funeral services, they cat whistle like people coming in, we trying to escort ladies out to the cars and so forth. They used to panhandle, that's sort of off the wall now. They used to have picnic tables out along behind their stockade fence. They moved the picnic tables out of there. Once they give them breakfast in the morning, they want them to leave their property because there's too many there and it looks bad for them that they're loitering. So they go across the street and they hang out. There's a gentleman with a pickup truck who is numerous pictures here. He seems to be the culprit. Shows up in the morning, 7:30, flips the gate down, tailgate, and they hang out. On an average, I've got probably 15 to 17 hanging out, okay? I don't care what they do in the afternoon. Most of my services in the morning are, in the morning and summertime, heat to heat, you know? Noon, I really know, to be quite honest with you, we haven't had much problem with them at all. We really haven't since we addressed the issue a number of years ago when they first took over there. And, they, now and then we call because there's some disputes going on. They're out dancing Miller Street and dropping the big F-bomb and this and that when we're having service. So we do have to address that. But all in all, they're good neighbors. I just can't have this loitering now when I'm trying to run a professional business there, okay, every day, okay? And it's a daily basis. I don't know what we can do. I mean, it's a town sidewalk. I do have to clean it when it's snowing and everything, even though it's considered mine when it's snowing, okay? When it's not snowing, it's considered the town now, and you can't, I mean, we can't say they can't hang out and sleep on the sidewalk. You can see them, shopping carts, sleeping there, you know, in daytime. I mean, I combine, you know, I pull right up and blow the horn. Doesn't even budge it. I mean, there are a lot of them bought them out, the Narcan one the other day and so forth, but, you know, this is, I just need some help, okay? And I don't know whether, I mean, loitering laws, you have to be considered to be a nuisance, causing a disturbance and so forth. They're really not a nuisance. Well, I couldn't say they're not a nuisance. They're not causing any criminal actions or anything. They're just there. So I don't know if we can move them. You know, if they can come back after lunch, I don't care.
Have you talked to the neighbors? I mean, what you're saying, have you had the conversation with the person that's running that building next to you?
I've asked them and I've got cars parked out front. I mean, you know, and I try and we put our signs out, reserved, you know, reserved parking. And I've been told it's not my street. Okay, I can't tell them they can't park there. Okay, I've had them get right up in my face and, you know, spitting and so forth. You know, it's just gotten to the point that, you know, trying to run a business there, it's just not conducive for me to run a business.
Well, if you remember a few years ago,
Yeah.
Biden bus went in there and sat down. with them.
I mean, it's, you know, and one of the young men that are next door, he'll come out when he sees something like this happen. Mistakes. He'll get them down the street and they told him and then he pretty much puts them in the car and tells them to leave, okay? But they're back the next day. It's just a temporary thing.
Maybe they need to come up with some laws from their end of their building. If we don't adhere by their rules, don't serve them. I mean, they need to have some kind of guidelines for them.
What amazes me that they want them off their property because it looks bad on their behalf, because they're loitering on their property. But we send them across the street, okay, just want them to hang out someplace. But
So they told you that's the reason?
yes,
It used to be,
well, the people across the street, they have told.
it used to be said.
Not, the shelter operators have not told me that, the people across the street, so they told us to get off the property.
They told them to
They
get off.
told them to get off the
They
property.
used to go to 7-Eleven, but since then.
Well, and they used to have picnic tables there. If you've noticed, they've removed all the picnic tables because there's no place for them now at this point. But it's just, like I said, all in all, they've been relatively good neighbors over the years. We've really not had a whole lot of complaints. Every now and then the EPD runs up because they're fighting in the streets, but that's not the norm. It's just the Lord right now. It's an issue.
I think that we would in turn have to turn to Chief and Dave and Lewis and say, do we have any recourse here? Is there anything we can do?
I think one of the first recourses is for one of us or a group of us from the town to go up and talk to the director. And let him know how we feel. I mean, this is what we sit up here for. I mean, we gotta own up to whatever. Because I told you earlier in our conversation here that there were some people trying to get to Northeast because he invited them to come up here for the shower, breakfast, and then leave. And we have a problem here with Elktonians. You don't need infiltration of others here. And, you know, sometimes you gotta say to somebody, this is what we see, maybe something needs to be done. If not, we gotta do other things that's very stringent. And you may not like it.
I mean, with the nature of my business, I'm in and out there all hours of the day, week and night, okay? I see lots going on. I go over in the morning and say, hey, last night, this went on, okay? They have had some night lights, but it's not you know, I try and keep them informed what's going on. We're good neighbors. Our vows is that we're good neighbors, except they say, get off our property right now, you know, don't come back till tomorrow morning, okay? So
Have they seen those pictures?
that's every day.
I mean, have they seen the pictures?
They don't have to see them, they look out.
He's talking.
I'm willing to, here, guys, you can take these.
Give it to me, I'll take it.
I'll go.
So loitering is,
I'll go.
I'll get them back this year.
Yeah, I think it's time that we visit them once more.
is weak, vote in the wall,
Or
or
vote tomorrow morning.
how does the loitering law work?
Yeah, I don't think they're pursuing the loitering law at all. I don't think it's even
It's not loitering.
been found to be.
Okay, I'm just wondering if there's,
So, yeah, we don't really enforce any kind of loitering. But my officers are really good at the moment in dealing with people and kind
Yeah.
of helping them see where they need to go and what
Yes.
they need to do and finding other solutions. So really.
You have an officer right now, excuse me, that you know in your mind, for the sake of the Elkton Police Department, the town of Elkton, who can go up there and talk to the director and say, hey, they had a meeting, they wanna know if you could cooperate, you know, something of that sort.
Yeah, me.
You go?
would say that I would like to go. with
I would
you.
tomorrow morning,
Tomorrow
tomorrow 9 o'clock, I just go politely ask them if they can address this in a way that the town officials don't have to be the one, administrating this.
Yeah, and
I'll
I
say it
just
nice
talked
way.
to, right, and I just talked to Mr. Hicks when he was on his way into the building today. We actually had a conversation last Thursday during our department manager meeting about homelessness and how we feel like this is becoming a bigger issue. And then, I remember Gina bringing up that the mayor had met with some of the, I guess, service providers dealing with the homeless population several years ago, or even before I was chief. But, so we were already planning on kind of reaching out, I was gonna reach out and see exactly what we can do. It's not, you know, we all know it's not a police department problem, it's not a zoning problem, it's not, but it is a town problem, and it's something that I think collectively we need to work on. I need to know a direction.
Yeah.
We wanna go and what some of our options are, so. Definitely, if we
you-
don't do anything, let this be our first step, right? And I'm
You were
not-
with us last time, I think we was there, you were there last time.
I think so.
I don't think you were.
But you know, it all,
Everyone go.
it all stems back to a part of police and community policing as well, which is part of us.
I certainly appreciate your time,
That's
Commissioner.
right, thank you, sir.
Okay,
Then
Don,
I'll get these back to you.
are we doing this tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock, is that fine? Okay. Any others in the audience? I know there are some that have concerns,
I may say a couple of things and maybe just a couple of questions and I'll stand right here. Going back to the whole PFAS thing and the wells and all that good stuff, I know dealing with the IPP stuff, MDE has kind of been looking at, PFAS testing as well with the IPP users. It's kind of been like a stagnant, we're just kind of watching it. I know Jason and I have been in contact with NDE over the past year or so, giving them information on our IPP users and dischargers and all that good stuff. From my understanding, and just, I'm a little nervous about the verbiage that was used today, because I don't want administration to be bombarded with concerns about water quality from our residents. But it's my understanding that the EPA is testing at parts per trillion, and typically, and Gary, correct me if I'm wrong, typically we test at parts per million. So with that being said, I just didn't want there to be a flood of calls to either Mark or DPW or the administration saying, hey, today in this meeting, we're being told, you know, well, blah, blah, blah is not good and this, that, and the other, and cause kind of a panic. So I just want to be clear that this testing, the measurements of it have been seen to be a bit extreme. The EPA has had a lot of kickback from different corporations and different things like that on the unit of measurement because of the difference in it. And from what I've kind of been following off and on, and while speaking with Marjorie from MDE on the IPP side of it, is that because there's been so much pushback and because they're pretty much saying like, oh, this may be an overreach because you're testing parts per trillion instead of parts per million. The EPA has kind of slowed down a little bit on regulations, and I've heard, and this may change, that at some point they were considering leaving it up to the states to regulate and determine what we needed to do and all that good stuff. Now, with that being said, of course, the testing and all that is regulated and needs to be done. But there's no set in stone as far as Maryland goes on what actions we're gonna take, what we're gonna do. I know there's an IPP audit coming up this year, and Marjorie Newborn will be, I'm assuming, on site. She typically is on site for that. So there'll be a time to ask her questions on what she feels on how the state is gonna go about this. But I just wanted to make sure that we're not being flooded with concerns that our water quality has not changed from pre-2024 to now, or any of this, because this EPA is coming out with these new regulations and what have you. So I just wanted to rest assured that, you know, the water quality is the same that it has been, and from our doing the same thing that they have been doing, our residents are getting the same service that they've been getting. So I just wanted to mention that, and I'll keep you guys up posted with like the IPP stuff. Because if for some reason the state does come back and say IPP needs to include PFAS and all this, our IPP application and regulations are all written in our charter and code. So we would have to go back to our charter and code and do amendments and add in all that good stuff and make sure that we're accepting what their changes are, but we're also updating our charter and code as well. So I'll keep you guys posted as far as IPP and all that good stuff goes. And then, just a couple questions with like the cost analysis, if we end up doing all that stuff, we're gonna take into consideration, not just treating the water, but the manpower, the, equipment is, if we switch to just well 5, is there gonna be infrastructure that's gonna have to change to accommodate the people that we're taking from well 3 if we abandon that? Like, all those other factors of other just treating and staying in compliance also need to be looked at and addressed coming from a finance standpoint to see what option would be more beneficial. So
Absolutely.
just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you for the information.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the audience would like to come, please, if you will.
Let's see. Hello.
I'm Bill Davis, Bear Express Car Wash with grandson, Wade Davis.
How come he's taller than you? He's taller last time I saw him.
Yeah, how you doing, Earl? I have I like to pass these out and, for with everyone. Wade will pass these out.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for visiting. Okay, 3 months ago, I received water bills of $30,000 and $38,000 for a quarter. I came before the same board explaining how this water and sewer increase has adversely affected my business. And Mayor Alt turned to all of you and said, we didn't realize how the increase would affect businesses like mine. And Mayor Alt was exactly right.
Right.
It has affected my business to a point that I cannot sustain this type of increase and remain in business. At the end of my presentation to you 3 months ago, Mayor Alt said that he would meet together with your group and send a report. He wanted me to send a report on how much water I was reclaiming and recycling, because I told him at the time, we do recycle our water. And I did the research and I sent it in to him, and we actually recycled 59% of our water. As I waited to hear back on the relief I could expect, I received a call from the finance director telling me I had to pay the $38,000 quarterly bill in 2 days, or they would turn off my water. That was hard for me to take. I've been a business person for 44 years, 22 years in this county and this town of Elkton. And I've never been treated like that before. I was really taken back. He said they also would consider making changes in the next quarter, which they did not do, and they have not done it as of yet. I did receive the second quarter bill and nothing's been changed. My question is, why has no relief been provided, given the fact that I recycle 59% of my water? And the mayor specifically said he didn't realize how it would increase would affect businesses like mine. This increase will put me out of business after 22 years in that business. Margins are slim. Anyway, with the increase in property taxes, skyrocketing electric bills, increases in minimum wage, repairs and maintenance, now this increase in water and sewer, which is to me, the roof. I felt you had my back, and I know Mayor Alt said he did. After threatening to turn off my water, you know, I came to question that. And besides the 59% I recycle, there's also what we call water carry-off and evaporation. Not only do we recycle 59% of water, but there is a significant amount of water that never reaches the sewer system, as it is carried off on the vehicle after it is washed. For an example, and our soft cloth conveyor, it uses 44 gallons of water per vehicle, and it loses 17% for carryoff going down the road. This is 7.5 gallons per car on the carryoff. The touch-free that we have uses roughly 72.5 gallons per vehicle and loses 33% to evaporation. It carried off going down the road. This is 8 gallons per car carrying off. The self-serve car wash uses 17 and 18 gallons of water per vehicle, and approximately 20% of that water is being carried off by the vehicle, which is 3.5 gallons per car. Carried off water includes both evaporation and the water remaining on the car, which they take down the highway. If you go to the third page, problems since the increase. Prior to the increase in water and sewer, we were paying $68,253 per year, $17,000 per quarter, and $5,688 a month. After the increase, we are now paying $118,505 a year, $29,628 a quarter, and $9,874 a month, which is almost double. We paid a lot of money when we built our site to recycle our water, because we recycle 59%. Yet we're paying 100% of the water bill for sewer, the sewer charge, when we only just actually put out only 41% that goes to the sewer. Added to this problem, a new car wash was approved to be built about a mile from my location. I cannot compete with Delaware car washes, which is just a few miles away, where the water and sewer is much less. In fact, it's half the amount. Minimum wage has risen. Electric bills will be increased. I don't know, a lot of people may not know this, but electric bills will increase this month, 20 to 30%. And the reason why is they're upgrading the power grid and they'll cover 8 states. Maryland is one of them. With freebacks and equipment that we have, that would be a huge expense. Real estate taxes, I just got my real estate taxes, $26,213. And I broke it down. State is $1,697. County is $14,885, and the town of Elkton is $9,630. You know, to me, I should be commended on, conserving fresh water, and I do by 59%. I just want to know, I'd like to find out who proposed the sewer rate being twice the amount of our water consumption. I don't quite understand that, but maybe somebody explain that. If the water bill is 10,000, our sewer rate is 20,000. You go to the next page, page 4. I broke this down. This is our water bill in the last 4.5 years. And I want you to look at the highlighted one first. The highlighted in green. I want to start off on page 4 on highlighted in green. Our water bill. The sewer bill was $24,635 for this period. The total for this period was $37,890. And the reason, and I also use the gallons we consumed, there was 1,386,000. If you go to the next page, I highlighted in green, the next area that we consumed almost the same amount of gallons. And you can see before the price increase, my sewer bill was $18,479, and the total for the quarter was $29,741, compared to $37,890. And if you go break down on the back on page 4, I highlighted in blue the second quarter. It's $17,111 for sewer, and this is the bill I just received. And the bill is $26,370. Now, if you go down to the next blue highlighted area, that's almost the same amount of water consumed. My bill was $11,617 for sewer and $18,773 as a total of my bill. And you go to the next page, page 5, I just did also analysis on this, and the two first analysis was the yellow, highlighted in yellow. The third quarter, the bill for sewer was $15,638,
My total for that quarter was 24,115. If you look at the before the price increase for the same period, my sewer charge was 10,837, and my total bill was 17,530, for basically the same amount of gallons. And I did the same thing for that blue highlighted area. Since the price increase for that quarter, the fourth quarter, my sewer rate was 19,567, and my total water and sewer was 30,130. And for almost similar to the same amount of gallons, if you look at the last page, the next one highlighted was before the price increase. My sewer rate was just 11,201, and my quarterly total was just 18,000 compared to 30,000. And if you go to the next page, page 6, I listed a page of all expenses that we had in the car wash business. Car wash chemicals, car wash supply, car wash equipment. We've had our touch-free in there for 22 years. I've been heard of. Normally they'll last 12 to 15 years because we maintain them so well. We had to last 22 years, but I had to replace it. That was $205,000 I just replaced. Our other expense, water and sewer every month, repairs and maintenance, payroll. You go right down the list from insurance liability to security, to trash removal, to telephone, office expense and customer relations, and community donations. We're a big part of the community. When different organizations ask us to contribute to them, we do it. We've done it for the last 22 years, so we are part of the community. And the last thing I want to actually wrap up and have Wade pass this out is the analysis. I'm going to actually want to end this with this summation I have. I want to just make one comment though, I know it was not your intention to hurt my business. I know that. And like Mayor Hall said, he said, we just didn't take consideration your type of business, so we did this when we raised the rates. But right now, time is not on my side. Time is critical in seeking relief from this huge water and sewer increase as soon as possible, because it has dynamically and drastically affected my cash flow. I have other expenses to pay, which you saw on the other page, with a year of trying to deal with the increase. My cash flow has been seriously affected to the point I will not be able to sustain this, as it puts my business in serious jeopardy. Water bills of $10,000 a month is unheard of in a car wash industry. Like I said, I know what is in Delaware. I have a location in Delaware, but my supplier actually works in 4 states: Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. He has never come across water or sewer bills like it in the town of Elkton. Since the increase in water and sewer, I've paid out $118,505 in 1 year. I've suffered with this for the year, and I came before all of you 3 months ago, and I have not received any relief. Exceptions can easily be made for car washes. I know that one of the things Mayor Hall said, he said, we're trying to figure out how we can do it with other businesses. Well, exceptions can be made, with the car washes based on filing. We're the one of very few businesses that only item we actually sell is water, which we conserve by recycling our water by 59%. Like most governments, small businesses are protected by making exceptions for businesses under 50 or 25 employees. We have 18 employees. I have three courses here. I received relief from the town of Elkton as a small business under 25 employees. I can sell the business, which is now not an option when our water and sewer is running $10,000 a month. No buyer would be expected or be enticed to purchase a business losing money. I can just close up the business and walk away, or seek help from courts, which is my last resort. I appreciate the time everyone has taken to listen to this critical problem I have 3 months ago, and now I am encountering as a result of the massive water and sewer bills and how I can adversely affected by my business. We cannot allow small businesses to suffer in order to grow the town or big business. We need both in the town and commissioners and the mayor can partner with the small businesses into fostering thriving local economy. Fostering a responsive government, open communication by listening to our concerns and needs which you have through the forums like this and acting of the concerns. And I want to thank you for this opportunity, supporting and defending small business and friendly policies by giving us support and a commitment to our success. Boost our chance to survive in business and be profitable and pay our employees a competitive wage. Like I said, this is my second visit in the last 3 months, but now time is against me, and I'm hoping and praying that you'll take this under serious consideration.
Well, did you ever think to bring a bill from, your Delaware car?
Pardon me?
Do you have a bill?
I'm going from, I get billed, it's half the amount. I do actually more business in Bear,
Yeah,
Delaware, than I do here, and I pay half the water and sewer. And if you want to see bills, I get them. I have them.
no, I was just curious how they break it down.
Yeah, what sewerage come from Newcastle County, they have their own sewer rate, they bill me every quarter. The water bill is from Artesian, they bill me every month. But I have all the bills, that you can see anytime that you would like.
I would personally say I would like to get back with Rob All and let him guide us to what he was, I had no clue about this until you the second time coming in here. In other words, the second time I heard something about your water bill. Never once did I try to follow through anything with the financial director or anything like that. So I would ask that we get with Rob All and see what his guidance is from there, if you don't mind, because he's the one that had more insight in this than we as a board. All right?
Yeah.
If you don't mind, because I can't give you an answer or try to tell you which way they go because I have no clue what took place after you left.
I know the last time I was here 3 months ago, Mayor All asked me to get the report on how much would recycle, and I sent him that report. You have it. But if you need any other reports,
So
I can get them for you.
if you don't mind, I would like to follow up with him and then just see where we can go from there.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Do you have any comments? Lou,
The,
Tyler, anybody?
the board can't arbitrarily grant relief to any consumer. Only you can grant is through an ordinance.
Right.
Finance bills, according to the ordinances enacted by the town board,
Mhm.
they don't have any recourse other than, in one case, if it's a certain amount over, they can let it pay over time or whatever. But they can't just arbitrarily say you don't have to pay the bill or.
Well, I know that, but
That's just one.
we can re-examine or visit our rates or options at any time, right?
Absolutely, but keep in mind PFAS.
I
Going
know,
downhill,
I know.
going uphill.
I know,
PFAS will increase the rates because of the
I know.
capacity of the town having to tap.
And
A greater rate than it is now because of Southfield, for example. And yet our biggest producer, well, Free, has the PFAS issues.
But this is very concerning, and I'm like Earl, I know Rob met with you and told you to do, give him whatever papers are necessary. Did Rob discuss with you anything, Louis?
Now,
Tyler, do you have anything to offer?
Well, yes, one thing I will add is the mayor had asked for a lot of information about this particular subject. One of the things that had happened in the past, I believe this was in 2013, these very same issues were raised by this very same business. And there was a decision made by the town and a suggested course of action made to the business by the town. And that was separately metering the sewer. Because the idea of the cars carrying away water, recycling the gray water, all those very same issues were presented. And there was a recommendation from the town at that time to install a separate meter for sewer. If there wasn't, at the business's expense, if there was a question, about, water being used as a basis for billing the sewer. In other words, you could separately meter the sewer so that if you're concerned about being charged, sewer based on water usage, we can separate the two, essentially, by doing that. That could still be an option. I informed the mayor because, these meters are actually manually read. The water meter is currently manually read. The sewer meter would have to also be manually read, which could be done at the same time. So that is still a viable option.
Do you recall that?
Pardon me?
Do you recall that?
No, I don't know.
I believe it was 2013, if my memory serves. I have the
That
actual,
was an issue, but
actual
very expensive,
Wow.
meter, sewer.
I think you should all have a workshop about this and make a final decision about if you're gonna do anything, and I have to probably recuse myself from that. I think so, that would be the right thing to do. You know, I shouldn't be a part of that because of Elkton Car Wash. That's my brother. Did you know that?
No.
Huh?
What did you say?
Elkton Car Wash?
Yes,
That's my brother.
that's your brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Cindy.
Yeah, that's my niece.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I feel, trust me, I hear this. I hear it and I feel it. I do. And you're right about the longevity of the two businesses and, you know, how important they've been in the community. And this definitely has a strong impact. But as far as, you know, making solutions or whatever, I think I'd have to step back. But, or if I could help in any way, I'd try anyway.
Well, Ron knows my dad, because he was a grand opening 22 years ago. And
How
he
about
was
that?
behind it, so he knows our operation very well.
Yeah.
I would appreciate.
So that is,
You should set it up and do it.
like I said, I like to follow up with
Yeah.
Rob Alt and get a little bit more of detail, what was given, and then what
Right.
laws and bylaws, whatever we have to deal with, we have to deal with this, but I just don't want to sit there and say, oh, we're gonna help you out, and find out we can't do anything based on whatever Rob Alt set forth.
Just,
And Tyler, you're agreeing on that, following. With,
yeah, the mayor, I know, he's
Or-
gotten a lot of information to digest about this issue, and I know he's a busy guy, so I don't know how far
So-
he got down the line of get through all of that, but.
so we get back with him on that, if you don't mind, Mr. Day.
does anyone know, is the mayor gonna be back in town tomorrow? Is he going to join us in the morning? We need to contact him about that,
Don't know.
if we can talk to him right away.
I'm not sure, but
Sooner the better.
I think he has the pressing issue right there, and I'm like everybody, certainly you came and presented yourself well with the same type of information before, you know, written, statistical, and Rob was to get a hold of the finance department, and obviously Tyler, he spoke with you, but he never got back to us. We still have statistical importance, so I think this is not a dead issue. We need to find out collectively what's going on with the issue, and, you know, us being the commissioners and the mayor, we need to all be on one accord. And certainly we are not, and it's evident today. Unfortunately, the mayor is in a workshop out of town, but this is not dead. I'm not saying how great it's gonna be moving forward or what have you, but certainly this is what we need to do. Yes, ma'am.
Comment as well.
Yes.
So, for the car wash, and time is of essence here. Because paying these types of fees, it's been $119,000 so far. And it's depleting our cash flow. And I appreciate the sense of urgency that this committee said that commissioners are having right now. Because there has been no sense of urgency up to this point. And I appreciate your sense of urgency because every quarter that goes by, it's costing us a lot of money. And furthermore, we've had so much rain that the car wash business is closed on days that it rains. So here we are sitting there with like 7 days a month closed and paying these astronomical water bills at the same time. So our concern now is time, because we've been dealing with this for a year. We've come before you 3 months ago, and still nothing has been done. But today I really am encouraged by the sense of urgency that I feel that you see in this situation. You know, we've been in this business here for 22 years, so we don't want to lose that business. But water is our primary source here, and so it affects us more so than, say, it was Donnie's business, the funeral business. So there's hardly anyone in this town of Elkton whose main source of sales is water, and ours is. And I do appreciate the fact that Mayor Aud is looking into this, and he made the comment to everybody sitting in here, he did not realize the effect this would have on businesses like ours. And we realized that nobody did this intentionally. I mean, this just happened, and they didn't think about this. But we do appreciate the fact that you're willing to look into this and find a solution. Because, like we said, we can't continue on like this. We have other expenses we have to pay, and it decays the cash flow. So time is of essence. We've been going through this now for 1 year. And it's really having its effect on our business. And we've grown up in this county, in this town, have gone to school here, put businesses here in the town of Elkton, and now that business is being threatened by these water and sewer bills. So we really appreciate your sense of urgency and jumping on this as soon as possible, because we have to have some type of relief or find other means of recourse, because we're really fighting for our business right now because of these water bills. They were high before.
Yes.
But they're doubling them now. It's unheard of paying $10,000 a month for water. We can't sustain that long term. I mean, I helped do some of the accounting work with our accountant. And he said, how long is this gonna go on? And so that's why we're here today again, to seek some type of relief. And thank you again for recognizing the sense of urgency that this is. We appreciate it.
Certainly it will be to him as soon as he returns, if not before, because sometimes when you're away on business, you have an idea of what's happening back there that you're not able to respond right then and there. Sometimes people begin to think, well, what shall we do and what have you. Even if you're driving back on an hour flight on the plane, you're still thinking, what can we do to challenge it? And we have a new person on board in Tyler, and he has an understanding of it as well. So I just think we can get something accomplished. I don't know what. We all can't make any promises here, but we're on board with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.
And I just mentioned it a minute ago, we have been an asset to this community. I keep the car wash updated, put a lot of money in my car wash because I want it to look like new all the time, and does. And that not too many businesses can say that they, after 22 years, it still looks like it's new, and we do that. Like I said, we're part of the community. We give to every organization that asks us to give to, so we appreciate whatever you can do for us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I texted the mayor, he's texted me back. We will be talking with him tomorrow morning.
Is he gonna be there? Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else in the audience? Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hi, Rob Muller, Singley Fire Company. Just wanted to give you a little bit of a monthly update from the fire company. As we're in summer, obviously, it does get busier for environmental type emergencies and calls. So our crews are out actively working. We appreciate the support by several members of the community. In the past month and a half, we've had Redner's Market donate pallets of water to the fire department. Be able to rehab and keep our people fresh, operating out on incident scenes, as well as today, the grocery outlet donated a pallet of water as well. So we appreciate the generosity of the businesses in the Elkton community, trying to support us and take care of our personnel. As we look to other events, members have been out both with the Cub Scouts and their annual camp out at Elk Landing, as well as Camp Scrubs that brings together Christiana Care, Cecil College and their summer programs, as well as Singley Fire Company participating and reaching out to our youth. We are looking for the fall. We're starting to plan our Halloween trunk or treat. We know they announced that the day of the Halloween parade out to Alliance, so we're working on our date to schedule our trunk or treat for everyone. We're also looking for a number of other events coming up. We are currently in talks with Parks and Recreation with Miss Mary McGall in scheduling a Stop the Bleed community event, the Parks and Rec building. So we are very close to a date.
What's that?
So Stop the Bleed is a campaign that started about 5 years ago, and the goal is obviously if there was some type of, everyone thinks of an active assailant or active shooter event, being able to apply a tourniquet or stop life-threatening hemorrhaging. But that also carries into a lot of other things. We have a lot of agriculture around here, or really any event. Someone starts to bleed and they have blood that's spraying out, arterial bleed. Minutes count to save someone's life. So this training will be able to teach people how to recognize life-threatening bleeding, how to try to stop it, and each participant will get a kit to take home to be able to use.
Really?
We're coordinating through the Maryland Shock Trauma Center, who's received grant funding to be able to do this across the state. They are doing one up at the Cecil County Fair. If you've not seen the advertisement, there is a day, it's on the fair Facebook page that's open for people to come and take the training, and they'll get the kits. Shock Trauma would like to do a couple other dates. So that's why we solicited them to partner and do one here in Elkton for to be able to take advantage of. So we'll be getting that announced, and we'll work with the town and bring the date to the next meeting. We'll announce it in here for you
In the
guys.
fall, you said maybe?
It will probably either be in August or September.
Okay.
So it'll be before Fall Fest. We did want to follow up on if there have been dates announced for the public hearings for the ordinance, the legislative change for funding.
We haven't said any dates. Yeah, we have not.
Yeah, the mayor had talked to him about it. I think he's, wanted to look at it in August. Talk about it.
Possibly
I'm sorry?
August 6th.
Oh, resolution for the, what meeting is it? August 6th.
August 6th for the first one.
Have it written down.
Okay. All right, August 6th. Sorry. And operationally, there has been a fire hydrant that's been out of service in the area of One Price Drive, right on Whitehall Road. We'll just start.
Hey.
Do we have an update on that?
Next week.
Next week? Okay.
State and different rules.
All right. So, other than that, we've got a lot of events going on. We appreciate everybody's support. Is there anything that you have for me? Take back to the fire company. Any questions?
At what age group for Stop the Bleed?
Very good question. I believe I saw 12, but I will confirm, but we'll have that circulated in the information that we post. It'll be on our Facebook page, as well as your next meeting, we'll have the information that pass out.
What's the story on Station 14?
So Station 14, we're able to complete a renovation there to support the Maryland 5-star. Okay. As you know, that brings a large population shift for a couple of days out of the year. And for years, we've had some support given to us to be able to provide for the equestrian events up there, whereas Fair Hill, now the new steeplechase that's coming back. So the renovation there better supports the activities there. We were able to get a used gator from Bethany Beach 2 years ago. They took very good care of it. So they allowed us to get that at a reduced cost. So now we can store that up at the Fair Hill station, be able to respond both for normal emergency calls. We used it actually 2 weeks ago. We had medical emergency in the woods there and worked with DNR to extract the individual and get their help, so,
Do you have someone at the fair
yes.
station?
And Fair Week, you know, it starts this Friday, so
Okay.
we will be there. We'll also be getting support from other county departments. I mean, it's a large event.
Yeah,
So we will be there and other county.
there's always somebody there for emergency purposes.
Yep,
Gotcha.
stand by and take care of it.
Yeah. Thank God, thank you.
Thank you guys very much. We appreciate it.
Has there ever been a rule of thumb in buildings or area where you think an ADT should be?
So AED should be anywhere where, one, the public can have access easily. And so, for example, at the fire station even, we have one in the center of our banquet hall that's labeled. That way, even though it's the fire department, if someone's having a private event there and something happens, it's visible and easily accessible. We have worked with some other organizations like Fair Hill Nature Center, the Moose Lodge on 213, to do CPR training and help them procure an AED to install in the facility and make available. So
Because it
really
just
good
comes to mind, you know, a lot of times, if you're in places like churches and things, of course, we've had ambulances at churches before where I am. It helps, but, you know, I was thinking of the Juneteenth celebration when they had over, what, 400 or 500 people. I don't think they have one there. Or do they?
I know we were there, Sheriff,
Yes.
our administrator was there, doing outreach and doing the water.
I know you all are good with what you do.
But publicly,
Right.
I don't know that there's one, is there one at the Park and Recs building?
I don't know, because even if there is one, okay,
Rex, they got one.
but the rule of thumb is good too.
There's not a mandate as such who has to have them. It's just whether your community organization would like to have one there in case you need it for CPR.
Correct.
I think it's a great idea, especially with your gym in the back.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's great. And the amount of people that were at that event, I mean, I have one in my truck, but still, the amount of people that showed up to your event was one phenomenal. That was fantastic, but the heat.
It's just curious how much the money.
Well, and we think about access. I mean, how many, we were just talking about the First Friday event in downtown. Other than us being there, is there one accessible downtown should something happen?
Bet you not.
So maybe that's something we can work with
Like,
the
you mean
Elkton
like
Alliance
the
on,
Alliance?
have one there in their facility that's readily accessible.
Absolutely.
You know, when we think about public events and government buildings, those are usually the ones where we try to get them first. You know,
Yeah.
churches have bought them,
Wow.
and put them in open areas and things, but
Good thing about that.
There's a requirement on, depending on how many people are at a function, whether you need EMS people there.
Oh, is that
EMTs
right?
and or paramedics, but there's no mandate as far as, we carry AEDs on all our apparatus. You know, the chief's vehicles and so forth. We show up, we're gonna have one. But a lot of churches now are putting them in, it's just whether the community staple, the organization wants to put one in for the convenience of being there. I was just talking to our administrator, they're about $1,800 or $1,900 each.
Right.
yeah, cost wise, they're not as expensive as they used to be.
Can we get one before the fall?
Oh,
You like?
Yeah, I mean, that's something we can.
Commissioners, where are yours at the building here?
And that's a good point, because you should always know where they are.
I know they're here.
We know where the fire exit is.
Yeah, well,
Right outside the hall. Right outside.
We have one.
Yeah, there's one here, and then there's one in the lobby area when you first come into the building.
Yeah, then the police department.
and you have one in the building too, yeah.
So the point is, people that work where you work, you should know where they're at. People in business should have idea where they could be. But I mean, like, something coming in the doorway saying, "Oh, there's one right there in the corner."
Yeah, whether it's a sign, some people put it in a box attached to the wall that has an alarm, so if you open the door, it beeps. So people know, oh, hey, there's an emergency. You know, kind of different things you can do.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Jack.
it. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Since we're singularly here, I asked them, I think it was in May, I gave them 1 or 2 days notice, I was doing a touch truck down at the MRDC. And these folks dropped everything and brought out the old fashioned fire truck, one of the rescue trucks, the ambulance